Okay, so hello guys. So in this stream, I want to look at stuff that I feel like we should be looking at, and stuff that I feel like most people should familiarize with, and most importantly, the reason why I'm doing this is for those guys who are not able to purchase the course and they feel like the Phprad videos on YouTube are not that much descriptive, and they don't actually get to see more of that. So in this stream, I don't intend to look at very complicated things, but I want to look at just the basics. So as you can see here, we have Phprad. So it basically just generates to where your exam folder is. So for mine is in D. And as you can see, we have different types of databases. We have SQLite, Postgre, MySQL, and MariaDB. Phprad also has other apps also. You can there's Phprad, which generates Python apps. We have Node-RED, which generates Node-RED apps, and we have Phprad, which generates Phprad apps. So generally, what this means is that what I want to look at in this session is I want to specifically look at Phprad because that's most importantly where I do my course at. And in this tutorials we are going on, I want to be making an app, and I also want you to contribute to that. I want you to tell me, please kindly let's look at this, and I'll try to be more descriptive as possible, and also look at some of the bugs that you should look at before generating apps, and some of the tips and tricks you can actually do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a swimming app. So we can just say make a swimming app. So generally what this does is that it allows parents to add their children, and also they can actually track how they're going to do it. So if you need to make this a multi-language, you just have to check this here. You can also change the default language to these variable ones here. So I'll be using English, so I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to be using web server Apache, and yeah, I guess that's it. So kindly, if you feel like there's something you should look at, kindly leave a comment right below there, and I'll look at it. So yeah, let's go on. So we just need to create a database here, and let's just call it swimming also. Just create a database, and I prefer our font awesome icon. So yeah, so our database is created, so we just need to create that. Okay, so our database has no tables. Let's go ahead and make the tables. So guys, kindly note that we are doing this up to 10:35. So I'll only be doing this for 1 hour, so kindly understand my situation here. So we're just going to create a users here, users table. We need the name, we need the name, we need the email, we need the name of the child, and we need the, we can do the password, and we can say, yeah, that's generally it. So you can say the name, email, child, and password. So name, email, child, and password, and yeah, that's it. Actually, that's it. We would actually need that. But as we go on, we'll be looking at some of the stuff we're going to add here. Now, the next thing we're going to do, we might need to make a schedule. So schedule, we just give the groups and maybe say which group is going to do this. But before we do that, let's create another one and call it groups. So for the groups is where we have the guys who are going to be participating in that session. So we would say groups, and here we would go the group name. We just go with the group name. Okay, so we go with the group name, and we can go with what do we call it? Age. Yeah, so generally that's it. And now here we will do the group name here. We just need to do the group name. So as you can see, we are trying to link the group name here with the group name we made here. So generally we're just going to do a schedule for the groups here. So yeah, so we have the group name, and we're just going to set the time. So first things first, we are going to look at what these are actually doing here, and let's save this. So for those guys who are coming in, kindly leave a comment on what we should look at in the comment section there, so that we can tackle your problem. So okay, now somebody actually sent me a complaint today saying that the Ajax tables are not working, and I think we should just confirm that. So he says the Ajax table is working okay after one record is added, but if you're doing it on the first add, then that table is not going to work. So let's try and confirm that issue. So if you are new to this, you might note this deprecated comments. That's basically something to do with the upgrade of Phprad, which doesn't recognize the hashes as a means of comments. So how do you remove this? You just come to publish here, then you're going to set from production and set it to production with a true, and you're going to set that, and that should get rid of these errors you're seeing here. Okay, so the errors are gone, and now so we have the groups here. So the first bug somebody reported to me was that when you make this into a when you make this into a table, or rather when you make this into a Ajax page, that stops working. It doesn't work on the first input of that data. So let me try and confirm that for now. So we need to go to groups here, on the risk page we need to set that to an Ajax page, then set it to true, and try and do this here. Okay, so for now we have this as an Ajax page. Let's try and confirm our theory. So we say group A, we can say group A, and we say age is tells to something like 15. I think 15 is okay. Or 15, yeah. Just submit that. So that was the first bug according to him. So he said it was not actually displaying, but as you can see, it's actually displaying. But let's try and make this into an inline button. So how do you make this into an inline button? if you're using Phprad 2.7.3, there's a new features that were added, and how you reach them is you reach them via the page design. So you go to group list, and you need to go to the button here. So you're just going to change the button from navigation to something different. So let me explain. Navigation means when you click on the add button, it takes you to another page. But as you can see, we have preloaded model. We have the preloaded inline Ajax model and Ajax inline. So we can actually see what how these work. So let's try the preloaded model. And when we do this, so we're just going to get our add button in a preloaded model. So yeah, there we go. We have this in a model. Another thing we might need to do is we might need to just change that from a preloaded model to preloaded inline. Now let's go ahead and see what we get here. So yeah, let's try to delete this. So and the next thing I'm going to do, as you can see, my design of Phprad is pretty much different from what you're having. That's because I've customized the theme and added to my Phprad. So basically I have an extra theme in my app. So yeah, let's try and delete that. So don't forget we're using preloaded model. Okay, so there we go. We have the preloaded inline. Now let's try and add the group again. We have 12 to 14. Let's submit that. So yeah, as you can see, it's working pretty much well. I don't know why he said that. So it's working just fine. And let me take this opportunity to explain some of the things that most of the guys in the course have not understood. So some of my guys in the course have this there's a theme I sent you. And I feel like I didn't really explain pretty much how you customize that theme. And yeah, I have a place actually copy all my theme, my customization, so I don't have to keep on doing them. But let me try and save this first so that I can show you what I mean. So we want to customize our appeal of the project entirely so that we can have something pretty much different from what we have. So I want to change everything that you're seeing here to look a little bit more different than how Phprad generates your apps. So we want to make everything pretty cool here. Now I have saved my project. All I need to do is open the project I had made earlier. There's some stuff I had made to those. There's some stuff I had made to some code I had written in that app that I feel like I might need to use here. And this is this jQuery code I use all the time. So yeah, if you're in the course, the project I made later on, the one I sent to most of the guys, have this, so you can always copy it from there. Now let me just reopen our swimming app. Okay, so we are back here. Now what we need to do is I need to now copy that code I just copied and copy it in we need to paste it here. Just need to paste it here. So as you can see, I just pasted that code in here, and now that's it. So as you can see, this jQuery just finds the footer. So generally, if I copy this, then you're going to start seeing this footer here, which is not good for you. So generally, if you want to, that is generally if you want to. So as you can see, we can't really see the footer. Even if I try to scroll down, we can't really see the footer. But let's see what actually happened to the tables. So there you go. As you can see, the table looks entirely different, something different from what you actually generate in Phprad. So we have different stuff here. Looks pretty good. Now let me just in case you didn't notice what happened to the table, let me just highlight this so that you can actually see what happened to the table. So this is the snippet that is handling the table. Okay, just have this that is handling the table. So let's see what actually happened to the table here. Let's go back to groups. Okay, so as you can see, the table looks ugly. As you can see, this stuff here makes the table look terrible. So don't worry about this. This is just a card that I added, and that card is being added here. It's being added here. It's also being added here. Other stuff, yeah. So pretty awesome, yeah. Now let's just return what was there, and now you can see the difference. Remember, if you need me to look at something you feel like you need to be clarified in Phprad, kindly leave a comment right below there so that I can actually look at it while I'm still live right now. And yeah, so let's see. Yeah, so now you see the table looks decent. Table looks pretty much decent. Now another thing I like doing is that I like customizing my buttons so that they don't look this way. So as you see, also the card looks awesome. Yeah, as you can see, the inline adding looks pretty awesome. So yeah, let me look at it. Now another thing I like doing is that I like switching these to just an empty button. And how I do this is that I just need to go to groups, go to button here, and just delete all of this. Just delete all of that. You need to preview your work. Okay, so as you can see, you have just this button, but I like to go more deeper than that, and let me try and make this button circular. How we do this is that I need to add a class somewhere inside here. As you can see, there's a code I've highlighted here. I like just remove it. So as you can see, we have this class. Let me just remove it so that you understand what is going to happen here. So let's go back and look at this. So that's just supposed to add that class to all the buttons. Okay, so as you can see, this button looks like this now. It's not what we actually want. This button also looks like this, but this button doesn't look circular. Let me try and make that button circular. How you do it? You just need to go to the list page of whichever button you want to edit. You need to come to the button class here, and you need to edit to add a class of your own here. Let's say maybe what do we call it? Let me just call it new class, or just call it home. Let's call that class home, or rather just say home, like that. And what we are going to do here, so since we have added this class is going to be automatically recognized by your browser every time you need to do it. And now for us to make it circular, as you can see, we are using jQuery to add a class to every button. So for you to add it, you need to come here and add the class we made. So since this is not an attribute, it's a class, you always start a class with a dot. If it's a div, we start it with a hash. So in this case, you're using a class. So you're going to use home, the class we actually made there. And when we save this, we should get this to be circular. Alright, so we have that button as a circular, but they are not perfect circles. Let's try and make them perfect circles. How we're going to do this, we are going to do this with custom CSS. So now we are diving into using the custom CSS. So pretty much easy. Now what you need to do here is to make the button. And when we do this, we need to add the height. We say 50 pixels. We might need to do a 50 pixels here. And we do the width and also do a 50 pixels. Alright. So save that, and you should now have perfect circles for this. Let's go back and see what you have. So there you go, we have perfect circles for your app. But as you can see, we have this word here that is getting overwritten. You can get rid of it. You just need to go to groups and excuse me, and look for this button here. Look for that, the text, and remove the text. should just limit the icon. So there we go, we just have the icon, and it's pretty much easy. Now we need to make this also a perfect circle, and we don't need to write anything else. We just need to add that in our class. How do we do this? We just need to come and add it right here. We are going to do dot home, the same class we made, and put a comma there, and yeah, pretty much it. Reload to have a perfect circle for this. So there we go, we have a perfect circle for our apps. So pretty much awesome, yeah. Okay, so that's it. And now the next thing we need to do to look at is okay, don't be afraid to ask a question that down there. Now the next we need to look at is we might need to look at I don't know if it's pretty much necessary, but let me just look at it. How to switch this. Now how we do this is I like to do the fixed partial collapse. So the fixed partial collapse is just set your apps right on the side there. We just set your apps right on the side here so that you can actually get a fully functioning navbar. So yeah, that's how you do it. And for this to work, let me try and open it in a browser. Okay. Let's open our app in this browser. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. We have our app running in Chrome. So as you can see, it's not really fully responsive here. So let's try and make it responsive. We'll have to do too much stuff. So let me just try and put this into static partial sidebar. Reload up here. Okay, so there we go. We have a fully responsive partial. Now let's go ahead and try and maybe for neatness, maybe let's try and add some icons. So just easy stuff, you can do it. I know it's really unnecessary for the 1 hour, but I feel it's pretty much necessary for the new ones. So let me just look for dashboard here. Let's try and use the 2. Okay, so we have that. Let's go for the groups and also set this to users. Set that to users, and for the schedule we can use clock, and for the users we can also use the users. So for the users we can just use this one. So we're good to go. Let's reload that. And for those guys who are just coming in, we did some few customizations. You can actually see them right after that. And yeah, so okay, let me look at something else. So we actually did that with this, and what this helps you do is it helps you change how your apps appear, and in maybe most likely the tables and the adding of that stuff. As you can see, my tables look pretty much different from your tables because I'm using something entirely different. And also it changes this. We also looked at this. I'm sure pretty much of you guys know how to actually do that. And maybe make a schedule here. As you can see, we have pretty much easy stuff here. Now, another thing I might need to explain is, let me just do this real quick. We have somebody, Rodrigo. Hello, Rodrigo, man. How are you doing? Any chance to show a sample of invoice style master header detail multiple lines in the same page? Sorry, I don't really understand your question, but is it customization, custom edits, or what do you mean? Please clarify that for me so that you can actually look at it. Okay, as Rodrigo helps us with that, I want to explain something here. I want to show you how you're going to do multiple lines for, and also note that there's something that was added in the users. So in case you need to create something, you might need to make what do we call it? Maybe add a recaptcha or something like that. And how you enable recaptcha in sign up, you just come here and set it to true. So whenever somebody is registering, they have to fill up that recaptcha. Okay, so there we go. We have that recaptcha working there. It's pretty much working, so nothing to worry about. Let's go back there, and we need to look at something else, and we might need to do this. So what I want to show you here is how you can actually make these fields to actually follow each other. And how are we going to do that? We want those fields to actually follow each other everywhere, even in a mobile type of appearance. Now, how we do this, we need to do a call. We need to do a call. What do we do? Call for the name. You can also do a call for the email. Then do a call 6. Also, let's try and do another column for. Call for the child, and password you can make it a call 12. We should just leave it like that. Now I want to show you what that actually does. I want to show you what that actually does. So actually, this is what it actually does for this one, and they just align them like this. Now, for you to get something that is fully attractive and yeah, all that stuff, you just need to change from form layout to vertical no label. Okay, so vertical no label just removes this stuff, and you actually use a placeholder to tell your user what they are entering. So there we go. That working. Now let's try and put this at the center here. How we do this, we go to the list page of that table you want to handle, and as you can see, these containers, you just set them to fluid. Okay, but in this case it's not a list, it's a users add. So we need to make this a fluid. You can just double tap on that, or you can just use the drop down. You can double tap on that, or just use the drop down here. Just use the drop down. Okay, now for this one, this is why we actually do this. We come here and go to justify content center, right? So when you justify this content, they're just going to appear at the center right there. Okay, so there we go. In case you need to make it occupy the full page, you just need to come and change the column D to 12 here. So kindly note they add up to 12. So to make half that, you may need to do a column D6. So there we go. We have our stuff actually aligned to the head. Now let me show you how this actually looks in a phone. Okay, so let me just do this, and then I'll get back to you, Peter. Okay, let's look at this. Okay. So we have users here, and let's try and do an add users. Okay, let's try and see how it appears in the background. Just need to place our F12. Yeah, F12 please. Yeah, so there we go. We have our app fully functioning on a mobile phone, and so yeah, you see they'll just appear the way you want. It has to keep those columns intact. And as you can see, we have these cards here, the cards that we made, and the reason why my app is appearing pretty much different than your apps is because I have a new theme I added here. And also I have this customized code that I have here. So if you need this, you can let me know, and the guys in the course, kindly, if you are in the course and you don't have this theme, kindly message me on WhatsApp and I'll send you the file. And also So the theme I'm actually using is just somewhere in our apps, so I added it manually. So that basically means that it just loads every time you have it. Every time you make an app, it loads the app, so you won't be losing any using any time. You won't be editing anything all the time. So there we go. We have it there. And so yeah. Now let's go back to your questions. Okay. So Rodrigo, kindly expound on your question, please. Bashda, okay. Can you show us how to change the font family and the font size? Okay, we will do that. Please, how do you export an entire list from Phprad instead of just the current page? My list is above 1,000 records and it's failing to load all of them. An entire list. I don't know if Phprad does that. Let me see if you can do that. So let's know if this is what you mean. Exporting everything. Exporting is basically you just choose what you want to export: PDF, Word, CSV, Excel. So which one do you really want to export? Peter kindly replied to that. And Bashda, changing the font family, that is pretty much easy. You just need to go to fonts, come to Google Fonts here, go to Google Fonts, Google Fonts, Google Fonts. Then you should start there. Okay, so for your question, I will need to do this from some ads so that we don't really have to keep doing it over and over again. I'll need to open some for you. So we have Google Fonts here. You just need to go to fonts and you need to copy the fonts you need. Okay, don't worry, I'm in a remote area right now, so the internet is pretty much slow, but should do the trick for us. So yeah, let me open this up so I can show you how we are going to do the Google Fonts. We get to where my is. So you have the swimming app here. You need to go. So I want to just leave this for you so that you can see what I mean. The main layout is where we have all our apps and projects, and these have the heads and all of that, the links to our CSS and all that stuff. So open this subject. Peter and Radgo, kind of question. I just what you may importing and page. Alright, so you want to export that is in the database of what you want to export. Because currently the Phprad is the way per page. So if you need to export that in page, it will export that. But if you export it into Excel and CSV, that should export everything, I guess. Try. Let me know what you mean. Okay, our goof is giving us a headache. Rodrigo, I'm still waiting for your reply, bro. Okay, you want to export to Excel. Okay, let's see. Look, we don't have and let's read me, Peter, but I see. I don't. Okay, for that, I don't even think I have records that are over 1,000. So literally helping you with this would be a little bit tricky because you want to export to Excel. Helping with this one will be a little bit tricky. Something to open. Let's open this. I mean, it's very Wi-Fi now. Okay. Hey, you need to try halfway do it.